Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're pulling back the curtain on a market that might actually surprise you. We're looking at global peppermint tea.
That's right. And we're digging into it using, excerpts from a pretty recent market reports for 2025, looking at the current trends and, what's forecasted.
Yeah, and our mission here really is to get past just the surface numbers. We want to unpack what's driving things, where the momentum is, basically give you a concise, informed take without you having to read the whole report.
Think of it as your shortcut to getting a handle on the peppermint tea scene.
Exactly. So to set the stage, let's talk size. The source material pegs the global market in 2025 at $262.58 million.
Which is, pretty significant already.
It is, but the report sees more coming. It's forecasting growth, projecting sales to hit, $406.044 million by 2033.
Yeah, that's a clear upward trend. They've calculated the compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, at 5.60% over that time. So steady, strong growth.
Okay, sizable, growing, but why? Let's unpack the dynamics the report points to. What's pushing it, what's holding it back, the main trends.
Well, the report highlights a few key drivers.
Mm.
A really big one is consumer wellness. People are actively looking for peppermint tea because they believe it helps with digestion, relaxation, stress relief, that kind of thing.
Ah, okay. That whole feeling good, managing daily stress angle, that definitely tracks with today's consumers.
Absolutely. And that connects right into the second driver. This rising demand for natural, caffeine-free herbal drinks. People want alternatives to, say, sugary sodas or even coffee sometimes. Peppermint tea fits that perfectly. It's natural, no caffeine.
Right, riding that broader wellness wave. What was the third big growth engine they mentioned?
Accessibility, mainly through online sales. The source really emphasizes how e-commerce has boosted the market. Makes it easier to find variety, reaches people everywhere, just makes buying it simpler.
Okay, so health, natural appeal, and convenience. Makes sense. Now, what about the flip side? What challenges or restraints did the report mention?
There are a couple of key ones. First, it's an agricultural product, right? So peppermint production depends on seasons, on the climate. That can mess with supply, consistency.
Yeah, you're tied to the weather, the harvest cycle. Understood.
Exactly. And the other big challenge noted is regulatory stuff. Strict food safety laws. They're necessary, obviously, but they add cost and complexity for everyone involved in making and selling the tea.
Okay, so drivers pushing, restraints pulling. What about the trends actively shaping things right now? How consumers are choosing, how companies are adapting?
Two main trends really stood out in the report. First, health-conscious consumers. They're getting really particular about the source and purity. That's driving demand specifically for organic and natural peppermint tea, less synthetic stuff.
So not just herbal, but clean herbal. Got it.
Precisely. And the second trend is innovation. Brands aren't just selling plain peppermint tea anymore. They're launching innovative blends, mixing peppermint with other herbs, other flavors, and sometimes adding functional ingredients to boost the appeal or target specific health benefits.
Interesting. So expanding the taste profiles and maybe offering more targeted wellness solutions.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's a dynamic picture. Wellness and easy access pushing growth, supply and rules creating hurdles, and the market responding with purity and new kinds of products. Where's this playing out geographically? Let's look at the regions. The report breaks it down.
Right. So North America. It holds the biggest slice of the pie in 2025. Over 40% of the global market value, according to the source.
Wow, over 40%. That's substantial. What's the growth look like there?
It's solid, but not the absolute fastest globally. The CAGR is projected at 4.1% through 2033. The U.S. is the biggest chunk within that, and generally, the report points to health trends driving things across the region.
Okay, and how about Europe?
Europe's the second biggest. It accounts for over 30% of the global share. And its growth projection is a little higher, actually, a CAGR of 4.5%. Again, health trends are a big factor, especially in places like Germany, which is the largest European market they mention. The UK's growth is also noted as slightly faster, linked to rising health awareness there, too.
So big established markets, steady growth, similar health drivers as North America.
Okay.
Now, where's the report saying the real explosive growth is happening?
This is where Asia Pacific, or APAC, kind of steals the show. It held a smaller share in 2025, around 23%, but it boasts the highest projected global CAGR, a really striking 7.4%.
Whoa, 7.4% CAGR globally. That is impressive. What's making APAC such a hotbed?
Well, the report lists this powerful mix of factors, especially for China, which is the region's largest market. You've got rapidly growing health awareness, the influence of traditional medicine, where herbs are already huge, strong consumer demand, massive e-commerce, making things accessible, urbanization, investment. It's like a perfect storm driving growth.
That definitely explains the speed. Any other really high growth spots within APAC mentioned?
Yeah, India stands out. It has the highest individual country CAGR in the whole region, 9.3%. That's just really rapid adoption is happening there. But countries like South Korea, Japan, Australia also show pretty healthy growth rates, contributing to that overall strong regional performance.
Okay, fascinating. Moving south then, how does South America look?
South America's got a smaller share, just over 5%, but it shows pretty robust growth potential. The projected CAGR is 5.9%. The report mentions rising demand, health trends, and exports driving markets like Brazil and Argentina. Argentina actually shows the highest CAGR within South America.
All right, next up, the Middle East.
The Middle East holds around 2% of the global market, but its projected growth is faster than North America and Europe, a CAGR of 6.1%. Drivers mentioned include health awareness, tourism boosting demand for premium stuff, and maybe some existing cultural preferences for herbal drinks. Turkey, specifically, has one of the highest KGRs in the region, 6.7%, driven by health trends, herbal demand, and its role as a producer and exporter.
And wrapping up the globe, Africa.
Africa has the smallest share, around 1%, and also the lowest projected global Thai AGR at 1.9%. The report does mention drivers like demand and health trends in Nigeria, and South Africa shows the highest growth rate on the continent, but overall it's developing slower than other regions in this specific market.
That regional tour paints a really clear picture. North America and Europe are the big, established bases, but APAC is where the future growth engines are really firing, followed by solid growth in South America and the Middle East, while Africa is, well, lagging a bit behind in this particular market.
Yeah, it's quite a varied landscape. Consumer habits and market forces really differ across the globe. Okay, should we switch gears now and look at the market segments, like how the tea itself is sold and differentiated?
Yeah, let's do that. Starting with product type,
Yeah,
unblended versus blended.
okay. The report indicates that unblended peppermint tea, just pure peppermint, currently dominates this segment. And the main reason seems to be that consumers really value that purity, the authentic, natural flavor. They want that consistent taste. And maybe they feel they get the core health benefits like digestion and stress relief best that way.
Right, the classic choice.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier that innovative blends were a key trend. So is the blended segment making moves?
Oh, absolutely. The report is clear. Blended peppermint tea is the rapidly growing segment here. By mixing peppermint with other things, chamomile, ginger, you name it, brands create more diverse flavors. That appeals to different tastes, right? Plus, they can add other functional benefits, tapping into that demand for specific herbal actions. New product launches are really pushing this.
Okay, unblended is dominant for now, but blended is where the action and innovation are. Got it. How about tea type? Processed versus organic?
The report says processed tea dominates this segment, and it kind of makes sense from a business perspective. Large-scale processing gives you consistency, longer shelf life, and lets you tap into global distribution, big branding efforts, wide retail presence. Economies of scale mean they can often offer lower prices, too.
Yeah, that covers the mass market effectively. What about organic then?
Well, organic is pegged as the rapidly growing segment. This ties right back to those health and purity drivers we talked about. Consumers are increasingly looking for that organic label, wanting to avoid pesticides, synthetic stuff. So this segment is growing because of awareness of health benefits, the focus on sustainable farming, better availability, especially online, and just general wellness trends, and maybe even influencer endorsements. People seem willing to pay a bit more for organic.
Right, so process has the scale, but organic has the momentum from consumer demand for clean products.
Okay.
Okay, next up, packaging type. Loose tea versus tea bags.
Here, the report states loose tea actually holds the dominant share in packaging. The perception is it offers superior quality, freshness. You can customize your brew strength more easily. It's thought to hold on to essential oils better, giving more aroma and flavor. It appeals to tea lovers, the artisanal trend, and sometimes even sustainability, with less packaging per cup.
I get the quality appeal, but tea bags scream convenience, and you said convenience was a big driver earlier.
Exactly. And the report confirms that tea bags are the rapidly growing sector in packaging. Convenience is king for busy people. Makes it easy to get those digestive or stress relief benefits quickly at home, work, wherever. Affordability, wide availability are huge. And crucially, the report notes more organic and premium peppermint teas are now available in tea bags. So you get convenience plus quality and purity, and eco-friendly bag materials help too.
Ah, so loose tea holds the quality crown, but tea bags are winning on convenience. And now they're upping their quality game too. Interesting. How about price category, mass versus premium?
Unsurprisingly, the mass category dominates the market overall. It's about affordability, being accessible to almost everyone. These brands focus on decent, consistent quality for a lower price, being in every supermarket, and using strong branding so people just grab it as their everyday tea.
Makes sense. And the premium category?
That's identified in the report as the fastest growing segment by price. It's a really clear sign that consumers are willing to spend more for what they see as higher quality organic ingredients, unique flavors, traceable sourcing, artisanal production. Premium brands often, according to the report, out of home is the rapidly growing sector. This is being driven by more people looking for healthier options when they're out, choosing peppermint tea in cafes, restaurants, even wellness spots for its taste, digestion aid, or calming effect. The rise of specialty tea shops, better offerings in hotels and offices, on-the-go formats, it's all contributing.
Right, so peppermint tea is moving beyond just the kitchen cupboard. It's becoming a standard offering out in the world. Okay, last segment. Distribution channel. Online versus offline.
Here, the report states the online channel actually dominates distribution now, and the reasons are pretty clear. It's super convenient, offers way more variety than most physical stores, prices can be competitive, you can read reviews easily, find niche stuff, subscribe. Plus, digital marketing hits those health-conscious consumers effectively, and doorstep delivery is just easy.
And within that online space, is there a specific driver?
Yes, the report specifically calls out e-commerce websites as really powering this rapid growth. They offer direct access, letting brands sell straight to you, which can cut costs and allow competitive prices. E-commerce platforms are great at using digital ads, reviews, offering subscriptions or bulk deals, fast shipping, and they have global reach that's hard for physical stores to match.
Wow, so online, especially dedicated e-commerce sites, has fundamentally changed how peppermint tea gets bought and sold. Sounds like a very active competitive scene then.
Oh, definitely. The report describes it as dynamic, really fueled by that overall growing demand for herbal and wellness drinks. You've got the big established names, Twinings, Celestial Seasonings, traditional medicinals, Puka Herbs competing with more and more private labels from stores, and smaller regional producers too.
How are companies trying to stand out in that crowd?
The source points to a few things. Offering organic and sustainably sourced options is key, highlighting the caffeine-free aspect, using innovative packaging, creating unique flavor blends, and really emphasizing those functional benefits we talked about, digestion, stress relief.
And I bet online is shaking up the competition too.
Absolutely. The report notes that e-commerce and direct-to-consumer (DTC) sales are seriously challenging traditional retail. It lets newer, smaller brands focusing on premium or organic niches reach customers directly. Meanwhile, the big guys still compete hard on price and just being everywhere.
The report even had those couple of, well, fun specific examples you mentioned.
Yeah, they did. Like the band Pulp launching their own branded tea bags back in June 2023. Kind of unexpected, right? Shows creative branding possibility.
Pulp tea bags. Yeah, didn't see that coming.
And the other one from May 2022 was Now W's Give a Tea thing, where for every couple of boxes stores bought of their new tea, they'd donate a box to a food bank in Chicago, tying sales to charity.
Yeah, those little details really help illustrate how companies are trying to connect beyond just the big market data.
Right, they bring it to life a bit.
Okay, well, that was a pretty thorough deep dive into this market report. To try and boil it down for you, the listener, what are the absolute must-know takeaways from this source?
Well, first, based on this report, the global peppermint tea market is already quite large, and it's projected for pretty significant steady growth right through to 2033.
And the big reason people are buying more is those perceived health benefits, digestion help, relaxation, stress relief. It fits right into that bigger trend of wanting natural, caffeine-free wellness drinks.
Geographically, North America and Europe are the current giants, the established markets, but Asia-Pacific is clearly where the fastest growth is happening, driven by a whole mix of factors there, real powerhouse potential.
Right. And then looking at the segments, while the traditional formats like unblended, processed, loose leaf, mass market price, home use, offline buying, still hold big shares.
The real rapid growth, the momentum is in the blended varieties, the organic options, those convenient tea bags, premium price points, drinking it out of home, and especially buying it online through e-commerce.
Yeah, it really paints a picture of a market where things like quality, convenience, specific health functions, and reaching people directly online are becoming super important for brands trying to compete.
And this deep dive using the report hopefully gives you that clear, concise picture of where the market is now and where it seems to be heading.
So to leave you with something to think about, building on all this, for a market so tied to health, wellness, and convenience,
Yeah.
how might other big factors start to play in? Things like, say, climate change hitting peppermint crops, or maybe future shifts in work patterns, changing that balance between drinking tea at home versus out. How could those things reshape these trends and growth patterns down the line?
Definitely something to keep an eye on as this market keeps evolving.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of peppermint tea.